Okay, so part 2. I want you to see how I have just transformed the areas of my garden I wasn't happy with. It had been sitting barren for a while and I'd get really annoyed and I looked out the window. Okay, so if you haven't followed it on Instagram, I basically have learnt from this garden here, which started as small as that, is that less is more. Okay, you can see there's a shit ton of plants that I originally started shoved in here. Okay, so the lessons I've learnt from tending this garden is to trust that when you plant the right thing in the right environment, it grows, right? So over my new garbage in my new garden, I've learnt that less is more. Like, I know this is going to grow up and big and out, so I'm not going to try and cram. And the same with this. This is quite an unconventional choice here. I've got 2 like flaxes in the back here, a lavender and a daisy. Now that's part of putting my personality into my garden, right? I'm actually not a gardener. I actually don't know much about it, but I made myself because I wanted to use the analogy when I was growing my business. So some of my plant choices functionally for some gardeners are likely incorrect, but it's that whole imperfect action, right? Just getting it frickin' done, but doing it in my way, what I love. So not having someone tell me what I have to put in the garden, but what I would like to put in, using foundational gardening knowledge. Now it's the same for your business. I've obviously had to take scientific gardening knowledge, factual, prepping the area, putting the right things in the right place, so same kind of thing for business, but then I've also been able to add my flavour, add my own stamp on what I'm doing. So just because I've got this new part that I've just worked on, because that was fun, more fun than having to go what I've got to do now, right? I now have to go do all this weeding, and I actually really dislike weeding. And then down at this garden it's quite a different story. There's even more big weeding, there's some plants that haven't worked down there. I have to rethink of how I want this garden, what's the future for it. So the reason I'm doing these lives today is to get you to see how it's just so, sometimes we can just, if we take a scientific analogy, it really helps you with your business. So I've got some plants I want to put back down here to see what the future of this garden is and rethink. So what I want to feel when I walk into this garden or when people walk into the front. So it's the same thing with business, right? Your ideal client, what are you servicing them with? What's some new products? How are you going to attract them? How are you going to convert them? How are you going to bring them into sales? It's the simplicity that you should just roll around, similar to gardening. And so part of the reason I wanted to jump on now is to say to you, yeah, it was fun doing the new creative stuff, but actually the real work now comes for me getting in and pulling out the weeds and making the old stuff refreshed. Do I still want it? Does it need to be there? And learn and thank that part of the garden or that part of the business for getting me to the second part with new knowledge. So, you know, be careful not to only tend the new, but to go and tend back those foundations. Anyway, that's enough from me today. Get back into it. Lou, you're watching, you'll be happy to know that I had a good workout bending, because it's the high boxes, so I've got to kind of step up and down all the time, so it's really cool. Anyway team, have a great weekend.